In today's video, I'm going to share with you my top 10 favorite comic book series of 2025. Let's go! Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is John, and you're watching Old Stuff is Cool. For the first time on the channel, I'm sharing a top 10 list of my favorite comic book series. I don't think I did this last year because I was still re-entering, the world of monthly comics, trying to figure out my personal criteria for what would make the pull list versus trade waiting or just reading digitally. And I think, for the moment at least, I'm pretty happy with where I landed. So before we jump into the main list, first I want to share with you some honorable mentions. First up is the relatively new series of Batman with writer Matt Fraction and artist Jorge Jimenez. It's been a while since I've read anything written by Matt Fraction, but I've enjoyed his work both over at Marvel and at Image Comics. And I don't think I've read anything of him via DC until this Batman. And I think between the art, the writing, and the overall direction and pitch, I'm a big fan. It's an honorable mention because as of the recording of this video, only 4 issues have come out, but it's enough where I'm going to stick with the first 6 issues at the very least. But if they keep churning out a consistent level of quality, I have no problem sticking with the series. Moving on, it's the first of a couple of Absolute titles from DC, and that is Absolute Superman. Overall, I've really loved the Absolute line, but again, in order to keep things at a manageable budget and even just time to read all this, Absolute Superman I stuck with for the first year, the first 12 issues. Really enjoyed it, but just it kept falling to the bottom of the read pile. The priority, which is something I'll probably talk about more throughout this video. If something keeps dropping in priority of reading, even beyond trade paperbacks and back issues, let alone my weekly stack of new comics, that's probably a good sign that I can wait on the series. It has a lot of heart, and I think it makes the character actually quite accessible. Oftentimes you hear Superman is almost godlike and is hard to relate to. I think this book dodges those criticisms. And while maybe it doesn't have as much momentum as other Absolute series I enjoy, I definitely want to keep tabs on this one. So Absolute Superman, again, stuck with it for 1 year, enjoyed it, but it will now fall back to the trade wait category. And my third and last honorable mention, it's another Absolute title. It goes to Absolute Martian Manhunter. I mean, people have been raving about this series from Dennis Camp, the art direction by Javier Rodriguez, and the story in general. It is bonkers. It's quite heady. I shared with a friend that sometimes after reading an issue, I feel like I'm too dumb to understand everything that's fully going on. It's a very unique book out there. And this is one where, I put it on my pull list, I took it off, and then still wound up getting the rest of the first, 6 issues. I'm not always dying to grab the next issue, but I'm always interested in what Camp is going to do with this character. It was only written as a 6-issue series, but was so popular that, they ordered more. And so, while I'm interested in what's going to go on with the next arc, I can wait. I feel good about waiting, but I'm definitely eagerly awaiting that next chapter for Absolute Martian Manhunter. All right, now let's move on to the main top 10 list. So at number 10, we're talking about author Dennis Camp once again, and that is The Ultimates. Now this is interesting. This is at number 10, and I even debated whether it should be an honorable mention or on the main list. While I'm not chomping at the bit issue to issue, I will say in the Ultimate Universe, which is unfortunately wrapping up and coming to an end over at Marvel, the main thing that moving the needle of the overall bigger story of the Maker, this whole, and just what's going on with this whole messed up version of the Marvel Universe, all that heavy lifting I think is being done by Dennis Camp, because the other titles seem very, in a bubble. But The Ultimates has been, moving the needle forward, doing a good amount of world building. But I think this is mostly here because I started it. I want to see where it goes. I'm not necessarily the most excited for it, but I'm enjoying it. Don't get me wrong. Anything that's on this list, I at the very least enjoy reading. But it doesn't have that priority, doesn't have that momentum. So that's why Ultimates is down at number 10. Next up at number 9, we have from Image Comics, and that is Everything Dead and Dying. This cover drew me in. The covers, this beautiful painted covers, are featured on this 5-issue limited series. And in general, I just enjoy a good zombie story, as does my wife. So this is one of the few titles this year, monthly titles, that I shared with her, and she's really enjoying as well. We were big fans of The Walking Dead, and I think this one doesn't go to as disturbing, lengths as that series does. Granted, this is also a limited series. It's telling an overall smaller story, but I quite enjoy it. And the other reason I mentioned Walking Dead is I feel like this story could slot right into that very world. This one's interesting in that the main character has, for a number of years now, been going through a routine in his town with his zombified family. And it would seem that as long as he keeps everyone fed, it doesn't seem like he's hunting down other humans to feed them, but I'm not 100% sure on that. What's in question is his sanity, whether there's something to this theory that the zombies themselves want to just go back to a routine, one that they knew while they were humans. So that's the big, that's a big reveal. Also, what happens when another group of survivors and interrupts that routine that he's been on for quite some time. A really good read. This might be a great one to check out too once it's all collected. I think there's great work being done at Image Comics, especially if you're looking for non-superhero titles. Moving on to number 8, we've got Rook Exodus, and this is one that recently made it back onto my pull list. I really enjoyed the first volume of Rook Exodus, which was issues 1 through 6. It recently came back after a brief hiatus, and I decided to pick up the single issue. I pre-ordered the first one, issue number 7, and was really hooked. I mean, I always liked the series and debated whether I should just trade wait or not, because I'm going to tell you right now, even though this is back on my pull list, I would be very tempted to pick up the hardcover collections, like the Image does some deluxe collections, oversized and whatnot. That's not necessarily the best budgetary decision, but that's how much I've been enjoying this series by writer Geoff Johns and beautiful art by Jason Fabok. It is my favorite series of the Ghost Machine, imprint. I dabbled with Rockefellers, which I talked a little bit about throughout the year. That's one which unfortunately got relegated to trade weight, but a very, very solid story. There's a lot of great world building. I would say this one's a little bit more plot driven rather than character driven, but we get both. It's not, all sacrifice for the sake of the plot. And I'm just eagerly awaiting it. The biggest thing here, as we go up the list, is I'm eagerly awaiting issue to issue. Oftentimes there's a great cliffhanger at the end. I mean, these are kind of some of the factors that over the past year or two that I've really identified as things I want in books on my pull list. Next at number 7, it's yet another Image Comics book. We've got from James Tynion IV, Exquisite Corpses. I do believe he's actually, sharing writing duties on this one, but this has been such a fun series. It is very cinematic. I mean, I can easily see whether it's animated or live action, some sort of adaptation to this on the big screen. You've got a bit of a tournament going on amongst hired mercenaries and serial killers in a Hunger Games style, tournament that is, dropped in, I think, every couple of years on a unsuspecting town. There are a lot of characters in this one. Not only are there the participants in the tournament, but each one represents a family who are vying for control of the United States, from behind the scenes, of course. But it's been such a fun read, and if a tournament with serial killers is your idea of a good time, I think this one definitely delivers. Next up at number 6, it's an entry from Marvel Comics. It is Storm. And this series, the first arc of this series has wrapped up. I am so impressed by the main writer of the series, Mario Iodeli. He's been partnered with a number of great artists, even though there's been some artists that have rotated in and out. It's always on point. I have loved, the art for sure, but even more so is the story. I mean, I think Ayo Deli is a relatively new writer to Marvel at the very least. This is not really an X-Men book. I'm gonna put that out there. What I was not expecting is the bigger story of Storm being appointed as the Herald of Eternity. And I love cosmic stuff. I love cosmic beings and eternity being the representation of the overall universe. Empowering Storm, but also having a bit of a contentious relationship with Storm. On top of the cosmic beings, in general, Ayo Deli also does some great stuff with other gods, demigods, thunder gods. It's a really broad, rich tapestry. It has much more kind of grandiose scale, and I don't think I'm getting that from any Marvel book at the current time. So I'm really curious when this series returns. I think I found a new comic writer to follow along with whatever future projects he does. Alright, we're at the halfway mark now with number 5. It's another Image Comics title. It's another title by Dennis Camp. I didn't actually think I'd have that much Dennis Camp on this list, but I mean, he's getting his flowers right now. A lot of praise from within the community, from fans. This one really stands out. Well, it's Assorted Crisis Events. And the unique thing about this book is that it actually leaves you a lot to think about. It is one where I could trade weight, and I thought about doing that, but there's enough like emotional and even like philosophical weight, if that makes sense, a metaphysical weight to it. It gets you thinking, is what I'm trying to say, and stays with you afterwards. Using comic book tropes, using sci-fi tropes. I don't think there's any other comic series on my list that kind of leaves me thinking after I'm done with an issue. I already picked up, the series came back. I have issues 7 and 8 waiting for me, but I feel like I need to prep myself before I dive into it, because I know it's gonna affect me in some way, and for the better. I mean, a lot of times it uses some fantastical situations to deal with some really, really heavy issues. I can't recommend this enough. It could be higher on the list, and because it's probably so heavy, so meaty, where other books might be more snacky, popcorn-like. I mean, this is like your steak and potatoes, something you can really chew on, sit on, contemplate. So highest praise for Assorted Crisis Events. And on to number 4, from Kelly Thompson and Hayden Sherman, as well as additional artists, we have Absolute Wonder Woman. This one, I say earlier in the year, might have been a little higher on the list, but I still love this book. In fact, my top books in general have that element of heart. Characters that you care about, characters that are inspiring. I really love this book. I love how it incorporates Greek mythology. I think that's a component of great Wonder Woman stories that I really like from even past writers like George Perez and Greg Rucka. They have that element with Brian Azzarello run too. Actually, I love that series. Also, the art. I mean, Hayden Sherman got his lovely signature here on this book. Is a local artist. Does a fantastic job. Very distinct, recognizable work. On top of that, though, they've been able to rotate other artists that are very different styles. Some more traditional, some just different. And I love the title no matter what. I think because the writing of the characters and of the overall story is so tight. The change and shifts in the artists, it's not a bad thing. It's not negative at all. So, Absolute Wonder Woman, here at number 4. And at the number 3 spot, the book that got me back into floppy books, into monthly books. It got me to start a new pull list once again after not having one for a few years. That's Ultimate Spider-Man. Here we have issue 23. The last final issue, issue 24, coming out. I think they pushed it back to February 2026 is what I heard. This one, it's at number 3 because it's still one of my favorites. I eagerly await each issue. But in general, it's a much slower pace, and which has been a criticism. Folks who don't like this title of Jonathan Hickman's work, it's like it's too decompressed. But it might be just a matter of being a big Spider-Man fan. I'm here for it. I've stuck with it. I mean, it's been 2 years now. and I'm just really hoping it'll go out with a strong finish. I hope we can check back in after all is said and done with Ultimate Spider-Man, and we could do a little wrap up. But overall, I hope I'm satisfied with the ending. All right, fingers crossed. Next at number 2, it's probably the hottest book right now. Comic stores can't keep this on the shelf. It's Absolute Batman, and here we've got Absolute Joker looking insane here, monster-like. Scott Snyder's been killing it. Jock is on for art duties here, for cover and interiors, but all the love for Nick Dragotta, the regular artist. In general, what I touched on before is something crazy happens every issue, and whatever crazy thing that Scott Snyder has built up, especially at the end of a story arc, I feel like it's always delivered for me. Now, I know for fans of classic Batman, this is probably the last thing that you want. It's the furthest thing you want, but I don't have a super deep attachment to keeping things the way they are, because there is a main Batman title. There's actually, there's like a dozen different Batman titles, but as far as like just fun and crazy and a roller coaster of a comic book, whatever hype you've heard of Absolute Batman, if you're down for something different, this title has it all. So number 2, we've got Absolute Batman. So if Batman and Spider-Man are not number 1, you might be asking yourself, what title could take the top seat here? And that title is from Image Comics, Transformers. Here we're looking at issue 25, the foil version, and this one features the current team of Robert Kirkman and Dan Mora. But I really want to talk more about, what I'm covering more is writer Daniel Warren Johnson and artist Jorge Corona's run on this. Transformers is what ultimately helped me figure out what I wanted in a monthly book, because this was it. I went from trade waiting to jumping in on a fantastic Starscream-centric, it's like the Energon Universe's version of Starscream, his origin story. That issue is so powerful. I forget, it's like issue number 13 or 14. That issue sold me that I wanted to read this book month to month. And kind of like where I mentioned with Assorted Crisis events, where it reads really well issue to issue because of something it leaves you with. There's some like dramatic, whether it's like a character death or some oh crap moment that happens in the issue, where I feel like I need a break after, between issue to issue. I don't mind that it's a monthly series. This is probably my most anticipated book of each month. When it comes out, it kind of rises to the top of my comic reading pile, and between the beautiful art and just ways that they're integrating and expanding this universe. We've got, Transformers, you've got G.I. Joe, you've got the sibling title of Void Rivals, which I'm trade waiting but absolutely loving as well. And what other book can you get? A battle between 2 combiner robots, and one does an RKO off the top of a skyscraper to the other. Oh my god, I just love it's bonkers. Very much the way I describe Absolute Batman. There's some crazy stuff happening. The characters are spot on. The story is solid, and this book just continues to surprise me. And really, what more can you ask for a monthly comic? So, yeah, very much so at the number 1 spot is Transformers by Image Comics. So that is my top 10 comic series for 2025. Let me know, do you agree or disagree? Did I woefully leave your favorite comic series off my list and I should go check it out? Whatever the case, let me know down in the comments below. But otherwise, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today's video. Also, I want to wish you the best this holiday season. Thank you so much for your support on this channel, and I can't wait to see what's in store for 2026. Thank you guys so much, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Take care.